What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Recher Reacts. I am Jay Recher. Hope everybody is having a wonderful last 7 minutes of this Sunday night. It was a day full of football, so let's not mess around with any other sports today. We're not talking baseball. We're not talking hockey. We're not talking basketball or soccer. It is strictly the National Football League. We got tons of game balls to give away, not just for the game between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Detroit Lions, but also one game ball for every single game that happened this Sunday here in the National Football League. I want to hear from you. Make sure you leave your comments, your questions, your concerns there at the bottom. I'll do my best to get to them here on the program. Who are you giving a game ball to? Whether it's the Buccaneers in their win 20-16 over the Detroit Lions, or in any of the other games that you watched today on that full NFL slate. A lot of upsets today and a lot of incredible performances. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm everywhere. TikTok. Go check me out there. And make sure you follow me. Click that like and subscribe button as well on YouTube, because that's kind of the big way to kind of grow this thing. We're trying to get this podcast here on Retro Reacts and the J Retro podcast, which will be coming out here in the next couple of weeks. We're trying to go pretty big. So make sure you follow me. And again, chime in on my YouTube page, youtube.com/ at sign JRecher10, JAYRECHER10. Shout out to my guy, Greg D. Cruz. Sorry, buddy. I don't want to leave the D out there, especially with the way the Buccaneers played today. Todd Bowles gets your game ball. More on that momentarily. We will definitely get to that. But a huge, huge win for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as they travel to the Motor City and beat the Detroit Lions 20-16. Now we're going to break down this game, and I'm going to give you all of my takeaways tomorrow starting at noon on Jay and Zach. Great job done by Tom Krasnicki on the drive today over on 95.3 WDA. A ton of listeners, ton of feedback. Really, really cool to see how Team Tampa Bay has responded to this football team. Our coverage on DA starts tomorrow with Pat and Aaron at 6 a.m. You don't want to miss it. Tomorrow, DA all day. There's no better place to be after a Buccaneers win. It is a victory Monday. All right, so I pose the question to you right now. Who do you give a game ball to? Who gets your game ball for the Buccaneers win over the Lions? Comment there on the screen. We'll put it up just like we did with Greg DeCruz. If you can comment here, whether you're watching on Twitter, whether you're watching on Facebook, whether you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment. Get in on the conversation. But I'm going to get into my game balls right now. Okay, Buccaneer game balls, and it starts with me, Baker Mayfield. 12 of 19, 185 yards, including the 41-yard touchdown strike to Chris Godwin. He was also 5 rushes for 34 yards and that incredible 11-yard touchdown scamper to give the Bucs the lead for good. Baker had a point to prove today. A lot of people put Baker and Jared Goff together, and Baker clearly won that matchup today. I know they don't face each other, but when you look at the two quarterbacks, Baker Mayfield raised his level, and the team raised with it. A rising tide raises all boats, right? That's what Baker Mayfield did today. An incredible performance for him. That moxie, that swagger, that comfort that he has, not just in this community, but playing with the Buccaneers. Like, it is amazing. So, so great to see. And shout out to Spalding Media Network. Appreciate you for tuning in today. But Baker Mayfield certainly gets my first game ball. What a performance for him. Loved it. And speaking of that 11-yard touchdown scamper, my next game ball goes to Buccaneers offensive coordinator Liam Cohen. Liam Cohen gets this game ball because he has the guts to call that design run for Baker Mayfield for the touchdown after he just scrambled for 11 yards on that third down conversion. Biggest play of the game. And everybody was wondering, well, why are you trying to pass the ball? Why are you spreading? There was nobody in the back. Empty backfield. Empty backfield after you just get a first down. You're in the green zone, man. You're in the red zone. You're whatever color you want to paint it. Okay. And it's like the Bucs need 6 here. No field goals. They need a touchdown. And he calls a designed run for Baker Mayfield. Incredible. Chef's kiss, Liam Cohen. And is anybody still attributing to the success of Baker Mayfield in 2023 to Dave Canales? I don't think so. Incredible job by Liam Cohen. My third game ball for the Buccaneers offense goes to Chris Godwin. 15 catches on 16 targets this year already. And in this game, the 117 yards he had brings him to 200 for the year. And oh, yeah, that touchdown, second of the year, matches his total from last season. Wow. It's incredible. And the rapport, and Greg says Baker energizes his team like Mike Allstott used to. Yeah, I mean, I think there's certain players throughout the history of this franchise that give life, right? They give life to the team. And he is certainly one of those guys. And the rapport between Baker and Chris Godwin is just absolutely incredible. You'll love to see it. So, so good. And the sky's the limit for Chris Godwin. I think he's in line for a Pro Bowl season. Really, really good stuff. All right, let's go to the defense. Zion McCollum gets my first game ball on the defensive side of the ball. A pick on the first throw of the game from Jared Goff. He also added 6 tackles, all of them of the solo variety, and 4 pass breakups. What an incredible game for the Bucs young corner. And I ask you guys, has anybody improved as much over the last 3 seasons than Zion McCollum? He was not very good at all at the cornerback position in year one. Fantastic on special teams. And then you saw him take a step forward last year. And now he's the best corner on this team. Hell, he's better than Carlton Davis. You saw it out there today. A part of the reason why the Buccaneers were so comfortable with trading Carlton away is because they saw this kid coming. He is a student of the game. He's got an incredible attitude, such a positive demeanor. Loved getting a chance to talk to him in the preseason. Uh, what a big player. What a big time player for this Buccaneers defense. Let's stay in the secondary and show some love to Christian Izien. Thrown into action with Antoine Winfield Jr. sideline. We saw him thrown into action last week when they put him at corner when the Buccaneers sustained all those injuries to the cornerback position against the Washington Commanders. Izien responds with 9 total tackles and an interception of his own. Crafty Chris just makes plays. That's what he does. There's certain guys that have a nose for the football. There's certain guys that are like Todd Bowles type guys. Christian Izien is one of those. And out of all of the things that were talked about in the offseason, and you bring back, you draft a guy like Tyke Smith, you bring in a guy like Jordan Whitehead, more on him in a second. But let's not forget Christian Izien, the undrafted free agent who made plays last year. Now, was it a perfect game for him against Detroit? No. He had some mistakes. He had a penalty or two. That's what's going to happen. Like Detroit's a hell of a ball club, and when you're chasing around Amon-Ra St. Brown, it's not easy. But he stays with it, and that kid rises to the occasion. I love watching him play. All right, one more guy in the secondary. You just heard me mention it. Thank God for Jordan Whitehead, right? 11 total tackles, and his effectiveness in stopping the run was one of the huge keys to Tampa Bay's win. How many times did you see Jordan Whitehead on that run blitz coming from the outside and just absolutely decimating the Detroit running back in the backfield? Insane. Insane. And I know he spoke about, hey, when I went to New York, I showed some of my other skills, my ball hawking skills. For Jordan Whitehead to if the Buccaneers defense is going to be able to reach elite levels again, they need that Jordan Whitehead, the same guy that we saw in 2020 when he helped the Buccaneers win a Super Bowl. He was absolutely phenomenal today for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I tip my hat to Jordan Whitehead. Another game ball for Chase McLaughlin, nailed both of his extra points and both of his field goals, including a 55-yarder that was an absolute no-doubter. There was a couple of, questions and murmurs early on in the preseason. I know I was one of them. But after those 2 missed kicks in the preseason, he's been perfect since then. Perfect in the 3rd preseason game and in the first 2 regular season games. Automatic. He is money. My last game ball for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers goes to Todd Bowles. No Antoine Winfield Jr., no Kalijah Cansey. You lose Vita Vea in the game, and you really don't have much of a pass rush, but your defense shows guile and guts and that epic bend but don't break attitude and resilience. Todd Bowles' quiet confidence permeates throughout this team. and he deserves a ton of credit. He is that type of leader that he's never going to get too high. And it's kind of funny because people, when things go wrong for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they'll look at Todd Bowles. Oh, he doesn't show any emotion on the sidelines. Oh, he doesn't have any passion. Well, part of the reason why a team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with a depleted roster, can go into a hostile environment like Detroit and beat the Lions is because there is a calm, cool, and collected man steering the ship, and that is Todd Bowles. He's gotten so much better in the last couple of years, and he deserves kudos because his team went out there shorthanded and they took it to one of the last two teams in the NFC East, one of the last two teams in the NFC last year. So, congratulations, Todd Bowles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're 2-0. You're tied for first place in the NFC South. But, man, what a performance against one of the best teams in the NFL. All right, make sure you follow me Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok. I am everywhere on social media. I always want to hear from you. Let's get to our guy, Greg DeCruz. The Bucs are doing all of this on an offense without any contributions from the tight ends. Yeah, not much from K. Dot and Payne Durham so far. Whitehead is a thumper, brings an aggressive attitude to this defense. You got that right, my friend. Jordan Whitehead, uh, an incredible addition in the offseason. I love how Jason Light's like, yeah, I kind of messed that one up. I love that. I love that honesty. I love that transparency. Okay, I don't want to go too deep into the game because we're going to break it all down tomorrow at noon, but I do want to give game balls to one player from each of the rest of the games today in the National Football League. So if you want to contribute with who you would give a game ball to, whether it's one of the members of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Lions or any of the other games today, feel free to comment whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. And if you go to YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button because every subscription certainly helps. All right, let's start in the first game today. Washington defeats the Giants 21-18. Jaden Daniels gets his first win, but game ball goes to Austin Seibert, who kicked a franchise record 7 field goals in his first game after replacing Cade York, who missed 2 field goals last week against the Bucs. So good on him. And Giants, I think, second team ever to lose a game where they scored 3 touchdowns and didn't give up any touchdowns. They lost Graham Gano in the beginning of the game, so they couldn't kick any field goals or extra points. Just absolute dumpster fire there in New York. But again, Washington wins. Jaden Daniels' first win, but Austin Seibert, franchise record, 7 field goals in the game. He gets the game ball. Saints destroy the Cowboys 44-19, and no surprise here. Alvin Kamara gets the game ball, 20 rushes for 115 yards, 3 touchdowns on the ground, 2 grabs for 65 yards, and another one through the air. Nolan's now 2-0, tied with the Bucs for first place in the NFC South. Packers even up their record at 1 game apiece with a 16-10 win over the Colts in Green Bay. The game ball's got to go to Malik Willis. An efficient 12 for 14, 122 yards and a touchdown. Another 41 on the ground. It's been an interesting ride for Malik Willis. Drafted out of Liberty by the Tennessee Titans. They end up picking Will Levis. So what was the future for a guy like Malik Willis? He made the most of his opportunity today, filling in for an injured Jordan Love. Speaking of Tennessee, they lose to the Jets 24-17 on a day where New York loses Jermaine Johnson to an Achilles injury. I got to show some love to Will McDonald. He stepped up in a big way with 3 sacks to help Gang Green to a victory. Do they call Hassan Reddick now? Do they mend those fences? It looks like they're going to need help on the outside. In one of the big upsets of the day, the Vikings beat San Francisco 23-17. Minnesota wins the game, but Niners' Fred Warner gets the game ball for me. Check out this stat line. 9 total tackles, a sack, an interception, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 pass breakups. Still the best linebacker in the game. Now would be a good time to tip the hat to Aiden Hutchinson. Give him a game ball. He deserves it. 4.5 sacks today against the Bucs. Well done, young man. Seattle goes up to New England, beats the Patriots 23-20. Game ball goes to head coach Mike McDonald. Seahawks are one of those kind of forgotten teams in the NFC. Kind of reminds me of like the Saints. He's got them playing hard, and now they're 2-0 as well. Chargers also 2-0 after a 26-3 throttling of the Panthers in Carolina. J.K. Dobbins again, 17 carries, 131 yards, and a touchdown. And how about that somersault into the end zone? That warrants a game ball. Browns win an ugly one, 18-13 over the Jags in Jacksonville. Let's go kicker again. Dustin Hopkins made his point after and 3 field goals, including a 53-yarder for Cleveland. So many 50-yard field goals already this year. You got to give credit to the field goal kickers. They are doing their thing. All right, next up, Ravens fall to 0-2 after losing 26-23 at home to the Raiders. They were winning the majority of this game. Uh, I could go in a couple of different ways, but I want to show some love to rookie tight end Brock Bowers, who caught all 9 of his targets for 98 yards as Las Vegas gets in the win column for the first time this year. The biggest ass kicking today came in Arizona as the Cardinals smacked the Rams 41-10. Kyler Murray, 17 for 21 for 266 yards and 3 touchdowns, a perfect passer rating of 158.3. That relationship with Marvin Harrison Jr., who caught 2 of those touchdowns, looks pretty good now, huh? Steelers 13, Broncos 6. Justin Fields now 2-0 as the starter. My game ball goes to Pittsburgh punter Corliss Waitman, 8 punts for over 420 yards, an average of 53 yards, and a long of 58. Pat McAfee would be proud. Chiefs get a late PI call and an even later field goal from Harrison Butker for the win to beat the Bengals 26-25 in a game where I thought Cincinnati was the better team for the majority of that contest. And for that, I'm going to give the game ball to linebacker Jermaine Pratt, one of the most underrated players in the National Football League. 16 tackles on the day. People wonder, like, what's the deal with Cincinnati? They went toe-to-toe with the defending champs. I know they're 0-2, but you have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, as long as he keeps his cool. But 2 really, really good linebackers in Pratt and Logan Wilson. That's part of the reason why they're better than a lot of people think. And then finally, the Sunday night game. I know it wasn't the prettiest contest. The Houston Texans moved to 2-0 with a 19-13 win over the Chicago Bears, but really cool to see 2 young quarterbacks ply their trade there in Houston. CJ Stroud, Caleb Williams. It's a lot of fun, and sometimes mistakes happen, but my game ball goes to another guy that doesn't get nearly enough credit when you talk about one of the best pass rushers, one of the best defensive players in the game, and that's Danielle Hunter. 5 tackles, a sack and a half, 2 tackle for losses, 2 QB hits. Danielle Hunter sorely missed in Minnesota. I'd say that, but they won today. But a huge addition in the offseason to this Houston defense. Danielle Hunter on one side, Will Anderson Jr. on the other side. There are a lot of playmakers on this Houston team on both sides of the ball. I think we could be staring at Houston in the AFC Championship game. Houston, Kansas City, like, it's going to be tough to beat the Texans. They have a lot of good players and a lot of good young players as well. All right, those are my game balls. Just a short show, about 20 minutes tonight. I appreciate everybody, including my guy, Greg DeCruz, for tuning in. I want to hear from you guys. If you're watching this video after the fact, let me know, who are you giving a game ball to for their performance on Sunday, week 2 of the NFL season. Follow me on all social media platforms. I'm talking Twitter, I'm talking Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. I am everywhere, and I hope you can follow me there too. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. Trying to grow this channel as much as I possibly can. Our coverage on WDAE starts at 6 a.m. tomorrow with the Pat and Aaron Show. It's a Victory Monday, so you just want to keep the dial on WDAE all day long, whether you're watching on the stream, listening on the free iHeartRadio app, or listening terrestrially on 95.3 on the FM side or 620 on the AM side. So Pat and Aaron from 6 to 9, and then noon to 3 is Zach Blobner and myself. And then, of course, we have Tom Krasnicki from 3 to 5. Buccaneers Total Access at 5 o'clock. I wonder which player will be on there with Casey Phillips and who was it? Casey Phillips and Cam Brate. I wonder who's going to be on this week. I'm sure it's going to be another good one. They set the bar high with Baker Mayfield last time, so it's probably going to be even better this time around. I appreciate you staying up. It's past midnight. It's past my bedtime. I got to go put even some more work in before they hit the hay, but I love you guys. It's a Victory Monday now officially here in Tampa Bay, and we'll see you tomorrow night right here on Recher Reacts. Peace out.